We've covered a lot of Tandy products here on the channel, but none quite as weird as this one. This is the Tandy Video Information System on Vintage Geek. Quick reminder, if you like what you see today, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps us a lot as we grow, and one of the things that helps us out the most is if you would consider becoming a Vintage Geek member. You can do that at the website, and for just under $20 a year, you get access to all of our video content commercial-free, plus some bonus extras and more. It's all at vintagegeek.com. As we've talked about in the past here on the channel, when the early 90s rolled around, a lot of tech companies were really interested in CD-ROM technology and multimedia applications. We've seen some other great examples of this, including the Philips CDI system and the Panasonic 3DO. But these systems don't even hold a candle to the strangeness that is the Tandy VIS.
There's something new at your nearby Radio Shack. Something that could very well change your family's entire way of life.
I'll be honest, I did not know anything about this system until I was at VCF Southwest a couple of years ago, and the folks from Tandy Showcase had one of these on display along with a lot of historical information. I had no idea this even existed. Apparently, it was a very short run for Tandy, and what had happened was Tandy was really interested in getting into that CD-ROM field, and they already had computers out that took advantage of that technology, like the Tandy Sensation, but what they wanted to do was build a set-top box experience, something that you could put in your home and replace something like a VCR or a cable box that you could just have in your living room and be able to play multimedia applications right on your television. This approach was taken by many companies, but in Tandy's case, it was a little bit misguided from everything that I've read. The first problem was that the price tag on this unit was almost $700. The second problem that they had was the software titles available for it. They did have a number of applications that would run on the Tandy VIS, but most of these applications were what we would consider the edutainment type titles. These were for younger children and a lot of times involved just reading a storybook with some visual representations on screen. There were also some interactive experiences that kids could do, but they were all kind of targeted at younger aged children, which was great except for the fact that with that kind of price tag, you could get other technology at the time that was probably more well suited to the task. Back when the VIS came out, there were some jokes circulating between Radio Shack employees. Some people called it the virtually impossible to sell as their acronym for VIS, which kind of makes sense given all of the other factors we just talked about. Now, from a technology perspective, the inside of this box is actually a 286 processor, but it's not running with an ISA bus or something you would see in a PC at the time. It's actually running in local bus mode. The machine had 1 megabyte of memory, so it was kind of a standard configuration, something you'd find in a PC at the time. And there was also a removable memory cartridge that you could buy that would allow you to store saved information from some of the games. And as I've read, you could also store your favorite tracks on an audio CD. They only ended up producing about 11,000 of these. And the story goes that they discontinued the product within about a year and a half. After they discontinued this model, they ended up selling the remaining inventory to a company called Tiger Direct. Tiger Direct would sell things out of a mail order catalog, and they often offered discount prices on technology that was a little bit out of date. There's a great website called tandyvis.com that shows a lot of this history, and apparently Tiger Direct was selling these units for about $99, and that included the actual software titles that would come with the system. Not a great fate for the Tandy VIS, but I'm really excited to actually have one of these and be able to see what it was all about and how it performs. Now, the unit that we actually have is a Memorex unit. Tandy never had a self-branded version of this. Memorex was actually the Tandy brand that they used to produce the VIS. There were rumors at the time that Zenith was also going to produce one of these boxes, but as far as we know, there were boxes that existed for these as if they were going to produce them, but no units have ever been found that were Zenith branded. So another weird piece of history to go along with this strange system.
Practically anything you can think of, VIS can deliver.
On the front of the VIS unit, you've got a CD drawer, which is obviously where you put the discs. You have a power switch and an open and close button. Unfortunately, on our unit, the open and close button is missing, but thankfully you can put something in there and push the inside button and it works just fine. There's also a little door that opens up on the right-hand side of the front. Now, inside this door, we have a few other connectors. There's actually an 1/8" mic jack, an 1/8" headphone jack, and a volume control. I suppose that was so if you wanted to play a game or something and not have it going through the TV sound, or maybe you're not trying to bother other people in the room, you could do something in private with headphones. There's also this strange kind of cartridge slot for the Save It cartridge. And the Save It cartridge was a way that you could actually store data from the games and also store positions of CD tracks and things like that. We did get a Save It cartridge with our unit, and it was installed in the system. I don't really know how to actually use it, but maybe one of the pieces of software will make that more apparent. That's really all there is on the front panel of the VIS. Now if we look at the back, we have a kind of standard complement of connectors. There is a standard RF output that would be used for channel 3 or 4 on your television. We also have a set of AV outputs, so you do have your left and right stereo audio connections as well as composite video. And one of the cool features I like about this is that it does have an S-video output. We're going to use that for our capture today to kind of show off a little bit more of the capability of the system. And finally on the back, there's an auxiliary in connector. What it was really designed for was the wired controller accessory. The normal controller is using infrared wireless. So apparently you could have a wired version, and those are also extremely hard to find. While we don't have a wired controller for the system, we do have the included infrared wireless controller. And this controller is pretty interesting because it looks similar to other controllers at the time. The fact that it's infrared is great because you don't have to be physically tethered to the actual console. The only problem is, of course, with infrared, you're going to be limited a little bit on range, and you really do have to be right in front of the unit. The controller itself has a number of different buttons. In the center of it, there's a selector switch. Instead of it just detecting if you were using a 1-player or 2-player system, you would actually dial this up on the controller itself. You could choose from solo mode or 1 or 2-player. I thought the solo one was kind of interesting because I would have assumed that you would have just picked number 1 even if there wasn't a second controller. Now as far as the controller layout, on the left hand side we do have kind of a D-pad, and on the right hand side we have a 4-button array. Physically these buttons are arranged in a similar way to the Super Nintendo and many other controllers at the time, but I did notice that the position of each button is located in a different place. For example, the A button is the top right, and then it goes down to the B button from there. So it's a different orientation.
Okay, Mom, now just press that button there.
What button? Like this?
I've got our video information system all hooked up and ready to go. Let's power it up. Very nice. Insert a disc or a cartridge. The first game we're going to play is called My Paint. This would be a children's application to do some coloring book type painting activities. Welcome to My Paint. We are getting a lot of kind of a ticking sound from the actual CD-ROM unit itself. I'm not exactly sure what's causing that, but it does seem to be working okay, so I'm going to let it go for the time being. My Paint. Now see, this looks pretty good graphics-wise. A lot of great colors going on here, and I love all of the different animations that I'm seeing here at the top. This is from a company called Saddleback Graphics, and on a small TV this looks really good. I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't know why this guy's shaking his head. Let's find out. Oh, maybe that's just to clear the entire screen. Here's a little flip book looking icon over here. I wonder what this does. We got a picture to color in. Cool, looks like we got a train on the screen. Well, what if I want a different picture? How about this cool dinosaur? Oh, we got 3 dinosaurs. What a windfall. I assume that one of these is going to be fill in with color. Oops.
Dinosaurs were creatures that once lived upon the earth. Most of what is known about dinosaurs has been learned from studying their fossils.
Oh, gives you a little bit of audio commentary. Let me pick a different color. How about this darker green? Okay. Like the smiley face look. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah. Now I'm making a polka dot dinosaur. So if this is a fill-in type of situation, oh nice. Put some different colors on these little spikes here. I'm gonna make this dinosaur in the back orange. You know, why not? Give some different colored horns. Honestly though, this is not bad. The movement is pretty fluid, it looks good, and I could see where a kid could really get into this. Maybe not for $700, but I could see some innovation and creativity here.
Exercise your imagination.
Next up, we have Meeting of the Minds. This is some kind of a trivia game, but I wanted to play this because it features the voice of Steve Allen, who was actually the initial host of The Tonight Show back in the 1950s, so should be interesting. We've got an hourglass. This system actually uses a version of Windows. As far as I know, this is the only system that ever used that version of Windows, and later that would become Windows CE, which would power things like the Sega Dreamcast. So another important note of history here with the Tandy VIS.
Hello, I'm Steve Allen, and welcome to the Meeting of Minds.
Okay.
Have fun.
I will have fun, as long as I know what I'm doing. Okay, I guess we're gonna read the clues. I am a prince, but I drive my girlfriend Ophelia crazy. We'll see what the second one says. This may help you out.
Perhaps you know my painting, Dancer Fastening Her Sandal.
I do not know that painting. I feel like I'm gonna fail this game. I'm gonna try hitting the Show Me button. I'm gonna be real honest, these cartoon caricatures are not actually helping me. Except for the first one. Hamlet, that makes sense. Edgar Degas, Johann Sebastian Bach. All right, so I think I was supposed to guess before I hit the Show Me button. This is kind of an interesting concept. I do like the art that they put in here and kind of these drawn figures. It's kind of cool. But this is going to take a little bit more practice on my part to master. And also, the actual speed of the application is quite slow on this one. Just getting the actual cursor to show up takes quite a bit of time.
Oh, that's old.
I'm going to move on. For any of you that have watched the channel at all, you know that I can't resist a good golf game, and this is no exception. Links is one of the few games that people have mentioned is a real game for the VIS, where most of these are edutainment. This one is a more true game environment, so definitely want to give this a try. I like the opening shot here. Links, we've got some palm trees, and it's telling me which button to press to continue, which I appreciate because with this controller, I'm never quite sure. Did they actually make different course CDs for this, or was it just the base game and they never actually developed that? I'm sure some of you out there may know the answer to that question, so please sound off in the comments below. All right, you can play up to 6 players. Nice. Choose your gender, your level, what color tees you want to use. I'm gonna try to switch this to beginner though, because let's be honest, if this is anything like my real golfing performance, I'm gonna need as much help as I can get. Let's go with the front 9. This looks pretty good, graphically. Set atop the cliffs at the edge of the Pacific Ocean, the Torrey Pines 36-hole golf course is one of the finest, most picturesque municipal golf facilities in the world. Nice picture. Thinking. Please stand by. Oh yeah, look at that render speed. Not terrible. We got some birds. I'm just going to give this a shot. I've not looked at the actual book. Oops. I feel like that was wrong. I got to figure out how this whole swing system works. Okay, so it's press and hold, release, and then press. Let's try this again. Well, that was better. Got 144 yards on that one. I'll take it. Let's see what we can do with this. I think I might be on the green. 5 feet to the pin. No, not enough. Hooray! 8 shots to get that one in, but it looks pretty good. This definitely feels more like a real game for the VIS. Unfortunately, I think that it feels pretty lackluster when you played a game like the one for the CDI, where you have actual commentary from hosts.
Just didn't get enough of it.
The graphics look good, but they're not kind of that photorealism we get with some of the other CD-ROM systems. You know, I'd put this somewhere in the middle, but it's not a bad title overall.
Bravo! Bravo! Encore!
Next up, we have a game called Our House with the Family Circus. And I remember reading those comics when I was a kid.
Every now and then.
Just a second. So we've got a house here, and I kind of like this cross-section view that they're starting out with. Okay, so it gives us little boxes. That's an interesting rectangle that it's putting on there. That's the whole side of the house. Let's see what happens if we click on that. Just a second. Stop telling me to wait.
This is the facade or front of our house.
Fair. Let's look at this weather vane.
Weather vanes still sit on top of a few of our houses, doing the same job they've done for hundreds of years, pointing out which direction the wind is blowing from. Nowadays, though, we get our weather reports from the radio and TV, so our houses are more likely to be topped with TV antennas or satellite dishes.
It's a fair assessment for 1992. What if I click on Abraham Lincoln? Oh, we got a different hold on now.
My dad sure kept his eye on the weather when I was a girl back in the 1860s. Our vane sat atop the barn, and out of habit, Dad would check that big copper rooster probably 100 times a day.
Very interesting. It's a little bit hard to get the cursor to move where you want it to. It's like it keeps wanting to skip around.
A fellow named Andronicus seems to have invented the weather vane in Greece about 1,600 years ago.
Let's go back to the house here. Let's get into the kitchen.
Here is the kitchen.
Sweet. That is a straight-up 70s blender right there.
Preparing meals usually involves cutting, chopping, mixing, or blending our food. With a food processor, you can grate stale bread into breadcrumbs, make fresh fruit juice, slice carrots, dice apples, shred lettuce, and even make bread dough in a fraction of the time it'd take to do it by hand.
Oh yeah, let's see what the grandparents have to say about this food processor.
Mom had an old silver hand mixer in the kitchen when I was a girl in the 20s. I used to play with it all the time, trying to figure out how it worked. And it was hard work, but if you didn't, your mashed potatoes be too lumpy to eat.
Nobody wants lumpy mashed potatoes.
This is the living room.
Oh, look at all these components. Oh, that is a sweet picture right there.
Today's television gets its programs from all over the place.
Come on, how is there not a future option on that? Is this the VIS? Nope.
Like the telephone, the radio can be found in just about every room in our house, from the basement up to the attic.
What does this do?
When you hear me speak these words, it's because sound waves carrying my voice have bounced into your eardrums. When a radio announcer speaks, a microphone changes the sound waves from her voice into an electrical current or sound signal, which is combined at the radio station with a carrier signal. The station then boosts the signal and broadcasts it from the radio tower out over the air. And because all these waves travel at the speed of light, the announcer's voice reaches your ears as quickly as if she were sitting in the next room.
Now see, that's cool. I actually really like that little illustration, especially the cutaway of the living room to go to a field with a tower in it. This is fun. For something for kids especially, I could see where this could be useful. Obviously the images are a little bit grainy, but again, this is 1992 technology running on basically a 286. I'm fairly impressed with the Family Circus game, Our House. Finally, we have a game called The Manhole. Now, this game was actually released earlier back in 1988 on the Macintosh and actually received some awards for being a really great interactive kids title. The one for the VIS says that it's new and improved. So do I just click on this? It's The Manhole. Is that a beanstalk? A lot of fanfare there. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if by clicking on it if I'm going up or down. I assume I'm going up. I click on this little tower. Oh wow, it's a dragon. It's a short visit. Do I go back down? I noticed that the transitions are not very fluid, but the graphics look pretty good though. Hello, fire hydrant. The handprint. What? Some interesting things to find inside a fire hydrant. Picture of a fireman's hat. Ooh, the picture changes. Now we've got a sombrero. I can see where this is a kid's educational title, getting kids to explore things and then talking about objects. Ooh, a book, A through Z.
Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
I feel like that's going to be in my nightmares. That was creepy. Let's just close that drawer. We're going to pretend that didn't exist. Is there a different drawer here? There's a music note in here. I hope it's less creepy than that last song. Nope. Just gonna close that drawer. Is this the Beetlejuice house? Wait, don't touch. Oh, that's pretty cool. Don't tell me not to do something. Oh, that is a cool dragon right there. I mean, he's got the cool outfit. He's just lounging. He barely fits in that chair. This is great. What's your deal, dragon?
Hey, baby. Welcome to my cool pad. Make yourself comfortable. Have a biscuit, baby.
Honestly, this game is starting to win some points with me. I appreciate the thought that went into this, and this is pretty funny.
All right, you're cool. Let me warm it up for you, dude.
Oh, please tell me you're going to breathe fire on it. Yes. Ah.
Whoa, baby. What a shame.
Honestly, I think on that note, I'm going to have to stop playing this game. This is fantastic. I'm going to say that if the VIS is worth it for one title, it's the Manhole. This is just gold right here. Love all the work that went into this. What a great title and a lot of fun and a great way to wrap up the demonstration of the Tandy VIS. So 10 out of 10.
VIS, it's TV you can really hoot over.
Just a quick reminder, if you like vintage tech and odd systems like the Tandy VIS, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, but one of the things that helps us out the most is if you would consider becoming a Vintage Geek member. You can do that at the website. It's at vintagegeek.com, and for just under $20 a year, you can get access to all of our video content commercial-free. We hope you check it out. Until next time, I'm Aaron, and this has been Vintage Geek.